Hi there and welcome. This is Fia. Sorry for my long absence. I've been having a tough time lately, just doing everyday things like working and stuff and getting colds over and over again and so on and so forth. Today I thought I'd show you something different. Since I do a lot of crafts, I'm a multi-crafter or a craftaholic. I tend to try to find different uses for my different crafts to merge, and I'm a paper crafter as well as a miniature crafter. And in paper crafting we have these things. This is a small one. This is a die cutter, a manual die cutting machine, which is really cool. This is one I just got. And this is the regular size. You see it doesn't fit in the machine. These can be used for cutting paper. This one can cut paper, felt, stuff like that. It only has one side of cutting plate. It can also be used for embossing folders, which I will show you. Small ones, but I will show you that on the big one because I don't have very many small embossing folders. But mainly it's used for these thin dies. And I thought I'd show you some cool things that you could use these cutting machines for in your miniature crafting. So to start off, I thought I'd show you something I made using my die cutting machine and some dies I bought, and that is foliage. And I'm gonna take some pieces up and show you. And I just started experimenting with this, so it's not 100% yet. You can also cut thin plastic and stuff with it. You might have to go through a couple times though. But it looks something like this. And for this, I was thinking this could be cool for pine trees. No, palm trees. And this you can use for bases and stuff. This too. And cut off pieces of all of these. Ferns and stuff. Could be really cool. And you can just... This is just painted paper. I took a sponge and just painted green paper with acrylic paints in different shades of green, yellow and red. Of course these don't have any red on them, and browns, to get them variated and not super 100% colored. And then I let them dry, painted both sides of the paper, and I cut them out with my dies, and I'm going to show you how to do that. But I thought this would be a great way to not get those expensive already bought like laser cut stuff that you can buy. That is really, really nice. Don't get me wrong, I love them, but this is a different way to go. And you can also use the machines for lots of other stuff. Just put these back. I have also used these. Give me a second, I'm gonna get the dies. Because there are different kinds of dies and stuff. So you have these thin dies, they're called, which are just like etched metallic with a raised edge on them that does the cutting by pressure. Then you have these that are kind of the same, but they're backed on a plastic hard surface. And these kinds I've used. The negative is a really nice stencil if you want to use it like that. But I've actually used this for the pieces. So these are really nice bricks when you're doing like houses and stuff. So instead of cutting like foam and stuff, you just use these paper pieces, and you can go through a lot of times and get a ton of pieces. And these are like cobblestones. Then you have these steel rule dies. And these steel rule dies are a little bit different. They have a cutting edge in the foam, so this is super hard. This is one with circles, and with this, when you use it in the big machine, because this only works in the big machine, you can use medium weight chipboard and glue like 2 pieces together, and you make your own bases. So that's pretty cool. And then you have this, which is an embossing folder, which has a raised part and a embossed side and a debossed side. So when you put this through with paper, it creates a 3D like texture, and this one is just bricks. But there's a lot of different types of these that can be used for all sorts of things. So I thought I'd show you. And there's a lot of different kinds. And there is electric cutting machines too that use computer software. I only have the manual ones. There are electric ones of these if you have a hard time cranking. And these, both of mine, are from Sizzix, so they're the Big Shot and the Sidekick. But I've also had a Cuttlebug that takes almost the size of the Big Shot. Takes most of the same dies. So, and that has a smaller footprint when you store it. But if you're only gonna cut small things, this one is a great price point, and it's a small machine and it's not very heavy. But I thought I'd go ahead and show you how to use this. So with the machine, you're gonna get a different type of platform. This is a magnetic platform that I have bought extra to use with this machine, because it helps with keeping these. But you're gonna get a long platform with different tabs on them that show you which type of dies you use with which sort of plates. So you fold out plates and stuff to use it. There's tons of videos on the internet. But to use this machine, super simple. And I'm gonna use these window dies that I just got today. I've been waiting for these to do this video. And I'm also gonna use this kind of decorative border that I also bought for miniature and for plant use. I'm going to show you. And you put your platform, a cutting board, which are these, and these are to be used. You use them and use them and use them, and then they get warped and they crack, and then you throw them away and you get new ones. So that's just the way it is. You put a piece of paper and you put your dies on top of the paper, and you sandwich it on top with another cutting board. And different machines use different plates, so that's why I'm not explaining it super in detail. Like I said, there's lots of YouTube videos on this. And you just crank it through. Usually one pass is plenty enough to make this cut. And as you can see, it cuts like butter. And what you are left with when you take away the paper, because you see here, this is it with the die still attached. You might need a pokey tool to get the pieces out. Like this. This is a really cool die, by the way. I'm going to show you this one just because. So, okay, so for example, here you have something that could be a very nice decorative border inside a building or outside a building. It can also be made on like the green painted paper and just like twisted and stuff, and you can just mold. It's paper. You can go in with like stuff like this, sorry, and make the leaves look more natural. You have windows, and these are made from cardstock, so it's thick paper, but you can cut two and stack them, and you have a really nice, doing this in black paper, sandwiching acetate in between it and coloring it with alcohol markers, and you have stained windows. Done. Windows. And then this one that is really cool has actual opening windows. You have to fold them to get them to open properly, but it actually opens. How cool is that? And I saw Tim Holtz, that is big in the mixed media and crafting community. He's coming out with a die that actually makes a window, like, I don't know what they call it, an atrium window. Like it's a frame that makes it like this, if you understand what I mean, sticking out. Really cool. I'm looking forward to that die. So those are thin dies. So you cut paper with these, or felt or stuff, but thin things, which is really cool. And like you see here, I have gears for your steampunky, cutting these out from metallic paper, and you can find all sorts of papers and stuff in the scrapbooking paper part of your hobby stores. Then we're gonna do an embossing folder, and for this I actually need to change my platform, and I'll show you the other platform. So here you get the platform you usually get with a machine, and here it shows you exactly what types of things to use with your dies on the machine. And I've cut, these are usually put together, so you flip them out. I think they're too long, so I've cut them off, and we're gonna go and do an embossing folder. And I actually don't have very good embossing folders for miniatures right now, because I haven't been using them very much, but this is just so you can see an example. And you can also put paint and stuff on these if you want to have them pre-painted. So I just put it in, put a sandwich in, we call it sandwiches, and here you go. Instant brick texture. Isn't that cool? How cool is this? You can paint this, and you've got, or that way, and you've got instant wall coverings. And for the last one, I'm going to show you the steel wool die. Maybe I should show you this one first. And there are different types of cutting pads and stuff as well for your machine. Like for the long ones, you're gonna need long cutting plates. So I'm just gonna get some. And we're gonna get a long piece of paper. This is watercolor paper, so let's go for that. And it's not gonna be long enough for my die, but you'll get the drift. Same thing here, just check your tabs. If the machine won't pull it through, it means it's too thick. If the machine pulls through too easy, it means it's too thin. You'll get a hang of it really quickly. So here you go with And you see this one is really bent and stuff. It's still gonna cut pretty nicely. And here you go. Instant bricks for your bills or a stencil. Super nice. And then finally, I'm going to show you the thick die, and I'm going to get a piece of chipboard if I can find it. I'm not really prepared, I think. Cut a piece of this. So this is just thin chipboard. You can cut things a little bit thicker with this. Like that. And here the difference is that you don't need the bottom plate. So it's same way, cutting plate, die, paper, or you can flip it and have cutting die paper, cutting die paper die, cutting plate, and then you just pull it through. And if it cracks and stuff, no worries. It's supposed to do that. Look at that, like butter. And this is chipboard. It's a bit thicker than like cereal box, so, and it cuts thicker pieces than this as well, so you can make your own nice bases or inserts for bases. And if you cut ordinary paper, you can do a couple of sheets at a time. So, and like the frame dies, just imagine putting them through with like brown paper, black paper, or sponged with already colored cardstock. There's printed wood grain cardstock and stuff you can buy. You can even put really thin balsa wood with these dies, which is super cool. You can do balsa wood with all the dies, and not the embossing folder, but all the dies. And imagine using, and they're using these for your miniature bills and stuff, and your miniature terrain and everything else. And how easy it becomes to just do proper sizes for stuff. Really, really nice. And also, yes, the cost for like a die is not cheap, but I know at least in the States they go on sale really often. And you can find, like, I buy dies, like thin dies at AliExpress, like from China and stuff. They work fine. Embossing folders and stuff you can get from China as well. The steel rule die is not so much, but if you just want to go the route with a small machine to start to see what you like, it's not a really big expense. You just have to remember that the cutting plates are no bigger than this. So the amount you can cut is this big. Let me see how big it is. If I have. So the cutting space of this is about 4.5 by 2 1/8 of an inch. So it's not a big space, but like the windows, I can fit at least 2. Unfortunately, this one is just a tad too long, but I can fit it if I put it on the diagonal. So that's really cool. And I just thought I'd pop in and show you these tips and tricks that I've been thinking about, and hope that you get inspired. And I hope you have an awesome day. Bye.